And good moments to everybody. Hi, I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here with Stefan Rowe. Hey, Dank, how's it going?
What's going on, man?
Oh, I did not hear you.
You don't hear me? You hear me now?
Better, yes. I guess if you're 2 inches back further, it doesn't pick you up.
All right, good to know. So, what's going on? Exciting.
Well, I went through all the Q posts. They added some more, so that's what I covered on the front lines, and then I went back to working on my project and waiting for you to come on. So it's okay.
Yeah, man. I'm got the kids alone this week, so it's a little crazy. I'm crazy.
It happens. I remember the days.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty insane. I've been rapping with everybody about trying to gather this militia together because and we did have some people that reached out to us yesterday, so we're gonna get them going today. Hopefully, I'll get back to them at some point. And we got to do something, man. All the constitutional rights are under attack, and this guy Cuomo, man, is scary. He's running this place like he's like it's a prison. So
it might be good to rally the militias to go up against the vaccines.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm actually building up to try to get on the same page with them about that. And we'll see how it goes.
So you go to the vaccine centers and you basically put the militia there and inform people while well armed.
While well armed, I think is really key. I was talking to this guy former pro wrestler, author is really into superheroes. Guy David, can't remember his last name, but he was great. He was talking about it tonight, and he was saying how even with Antifa, it's not about cowards are cowards, right? Cowards back down. It's just what happens. So
Right.
all you have to do with cowards is to show them that you have force and you're willing to use it. But, if you stop acting like a pack of idiots, then we don't have to do that. So
well, yeah, well, it's the same as with bullies, right? You pop them in the nose, and then they go away, running away to their mother and crying.
yeah, ideally, right. That's what
Ideally, yeah. Some bullies, your fist bounces off and you fall to the ground and
some bullies
grasp
can
your.
fight. I mean, let's face it, some bullies can fight. So,
But I don't think we're talking about that with Antifa.
oh my
With
gosh,
every time I see them with their hissy fights going on, they're hitting. They're going to hit like this.
I know.
It's like, oh, okay.
That is exactly how I see it. They're being trained by the same woman who also teaches jazzercise, and gym. Like you punch like this, like the Lucille Roberts Fight Club. I'm not overly intimidated by it per se. But you know what though? But they do travel in numbers, and that is what cowards do, right? You can't fight anybody one-on-one, so you gang up in numbers, right? And you make a big fight that way. That's basically what they're doing.
Yeah, I think they're masked also, so they're hiding, behind these masks. So I think one of the things to do that's fairly non-violent would be unmask them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like you can spot a coward when they're dressed like one of the stormtroopers, from Star Wars, and it's like obviously you're insecure. Like, why are you hiding if you're not here to start a fight? Right?
Wait a minute. I have my Star Wars Clone Warrior get up over here.
Well, that's for LARPing. That's totally different, right?
Okay.
That's for your personal hobbies of LARPing. It's funny. I wonder these guys. I wonder if they think this is just a big LARP, right? They're just part of a game, and Dungeons and Dragons just got boring, and they were like, "Hey, man, let's leave Mom's basement and go join Antifa." Something.
Yeah. Your mother keeps saying, "Get out of the basement and go and play." You're 42 years old now.
Right. I'm going to start a war. I want spaghetti later.
I'm joining Antifa. Look at their flag.
I'm joining Antifa, Mom. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's kind of how I picture them, though, pretty much. Not too far from that. So.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I don't actually have Stormtrooper gear over here, so.
I do actually have a Stormtrooper helmet, to be honest.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I am total geek squad with that stuff. I love it. I love all.
Well, I would, I brought it up because it was stuff that I used to do, and I was into, when they actually used to have Dungeons and Dragons and conventions and things like that. So I would go to those. I appreciate the world of fantasy and sci-fi. So, but when we're talking about these people that are just there being prompted by their high school teachers and college professors under some ultimate game plan to create a socialist utopia in America,
Right.
and to pump them full of ideals and things, everything from the global warming fallacy to the, it's global cooling. Don't forget, we're in a solar minimum, and we have a mini ice age going on right now. Obviously, that's due to excess carbon.
Apparently, and they're actually showing that we're completely average compared to every other ice age. Like we're not higher or lower. We're just normal, right in the middle. So it's like,
well, when I was a young kid in the 70s, I had remembered, the snowstorms in Pennsylvania, and there were 3 feet of snow. Oh, it's the beginning of the ice age, so we've got 10 more years before we're all wiped out.
Right.
Same story back then.
That all makes sense. Yep, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
We're all going to die.
Yeah. So if we keep this pattern going, we got some good times coming. We got the another mini ice age, another global warming, I think they call it the weather.
I think they do call it the weather. Yeah, I mean it's pretty normal. If they just let the weather be the weather, and I don't even know would our planet be significantly more moderate? I mean, around the world, if we didn't control the weather, like what would it be like?
Yeah, well, yeah, we definitely have some weather modification stuff that's going on around the world, so that interferes. It's the butterfly effect. You cause a storm in Southeast Asia, and you're going to end up with a dry spell in New York.
Right.
But it's all interconnected. You take from one area, put it into the other. It's gonna generate itself as abnormal weather patterns.
Well, yeah, it's crazy. So, so we know that's a big hoax, right, and nonsense. And by the way, I mean, for anybody who's really into global warming, like you're convinced we're all going to die in 12 years. You're also convinced that Alexandria Cortez is very intelligent and gifted, and that's how she got that position. You're definitely not watching the show, so I shouldn't even say anything. But if you're into global warming, I can tell you right now that we can replace every single cargo ship on the planet. There's 6,000 of them approximately. Each one of those cargo ships emits the equivalent of 50 million automobiles per ship, right? But they do it out at sea, so no one really notices, right? And if we just replaced half those fleets, right, just half the fleet, 3,000 ships, and we'll fund the whole project, and we'll completely eradicate global warming, and we can do that probably 3 years. Let's say we can replace it. We can replace every single ship, completely eradicate global warming. I have now solved global warming. Here's the thing. You need to stop being a pack of idiots and blocking transfers and just let us bring money in to fund people. If you actually cared about people rather than world domination, it's an easy call. So,
yeah, well, we know that's not really the game. The game here is just control. So just getting people to remove straws from the fast food restaurants, because that's going to make a global impact to make the world a better place. These small things, less water in your toilet so that you have to flush it 5 times to make it go down. Yeah,
that's what the difference is, Dan. That's the difference.
Yeah,
less flushing.
So they come up with these things that make people feel good. Oh, I'm doing something. The politicians, oh, look what I did. And really it's just leading people into a mindset of scarcity and then oppression. Oh, we're bad, so it's okay if you oppress us kind of mentality.
Right. Like when people are like OCD, they can also be very abusive, right? So like if like the towels don't line up just right, they'll freak out on somebody. And then like these poor people, they feel like, oh my gosh, I should have had the towels ready. I'm so sorry. They start freaking out. That's what our whole population would be left. I mean, the 500 million or so that live, will be just completely worried at all times to make the slave masters happy. If we were going down that route, but we're not going down that route. We're going down the kick ass and take names route. And they're killing it right now with Epstein everywhere. And, all the original information that we reported with Michelle Walker, they're validating it. The FBI just completely took over the investigation. So
awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. I mean, I'm excited about it. I mean, everything we said, they just made us much more credible, proving exactly what we said was happening. So that's very exciting.
Oh, well, this is the pattern. So we're seeing that it unfold because they're bringing out everything about Epstein. It's funny seeing, Bill Clinton is there with saying, "Oh, well, I haven't seen Epstein in a decade, and I don't know anything about this." But here's a picture of him in the plane with Rachel Chandler. when she's 15.
Listen, Bill Clinton is a bowl full of retard Arkansas gumbo. I mean, that guy's an absolute. What I mean, how could he possibly think anyone is going to? This dude took 26 flights to an island that has one building. The building is a temple to Amun Ra or cockatoos or whoever,
Right.
and a main portion of the building is a rape dungeon. But Bill Clinton didn't know what was going on. He's like, "You have a rape dungeon? What does that mean?" Come on. Jeez. Bill Clinton, there's a whole book written about you literally raping a woman brutally, biting her lip to the point where she had to go to the hospital and just forcing her to bed right before you did a speech.
Oh,
so
you know what? I'm sorry.
No, it's good.
I shouldn't have cut you up, but I just there was a Fox interview with this author of a book about Epstein called Filthy Rich, right? And I'm listening to the interview about him and how he's saying that, oh yeah, Bill Clinton and all these other people, his neighbors, didn't know what Epstein was doing. I mean, can you talk about a planned time for this book to come out where, it's just about Epstein? Epstein's the only one that knew that he was doing this, right? And it's so obvious that it's it's planted information. Someone hired this guy to write the book,
Well, what's fascinating is that they're gonna have, somehow in their deluded minds, right? They're so arrogant. It's their downfall. Because Epstein, think of how arrogant it is. He's building another island, right? He's in the process of building another island.
A bigger one.
While the whole world is like in upheaval and like you don't even know what's happening next. He just decides, yeah, I'll just build another one. Screw it. We're going to win. Because they're so used to winning. I mean, it's incredible, really, when you think about it. It's like when you've won that much that you don't even consider that there's an option for you to lose anymore. That is arrogance.
Right.
I mean, and it wasn't any small business going on there, right? I mean, they have, in one of those pictures that I saw, they had, long tables with, probably 50 people in a room where they're dining naked, and not like pretty naked either. Not like, oh, cool island exotic naked. No, like gross, like slave naked, right? Like horrible, abused people.
Short tables.
Just to remind everyone, the last person who didn't approve of Mr. Epstein's gumbo, he's down at the end of the table. His head is hanging there. I mean, like you can actually see the head hanging there. So, I mean, it's clearly an abusive environment of, sex trafficked, slave teenagers or whatever it is. I'm not even sure who they are.
Yeah, well, when I was listening to you with Michelle yesterday, I brought this up on the front lines while I was going over the Q posts, is that she was talking about the suicide hotline and how it led back to the Clinton Foundation. The people who are funding the suicide hotline is supposed, and this is supposed to be the societal support center, right? That this supports our society. We have charities that help people, but if it all goes back to the Clinton Foundation and they're just doing it to cause more torture to society in general, and we see that the Child Protective Services is actually child porn. Pedophile services.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So this everything, they are so arrogant and so on top that they said that nobody could ever touch them. That's how arrogant and they've infiltrated into the whole world where they're going to torture us on these levels of corrupting the suicide hotlines. This is totally, shows how far away from humanity they actually are. They are the alien invaders that we have to rise up against in the world.
By the way, that's a great point, man. We ought to draw that out and explain it. I mean,
that's like the third time I brought it up, so I'm waiting for you to catch up on it.
No, I'm just saying. No, I knew you brought it up. I'm just saying, like, I caught it when you said it, but I'm like, man.
I know, but we should draw it out because it is again, it's karmic. It's the mirror. They're the ones that created the scenario of Project Bluebeam to pull the world together under tyranny to fight an alien invader. Well, we pull the world together in harmony and love to go after this oppressor that's already here, this alien invader. Whether or not you want to believe in the Anunnaki and reptilian DNA, or you don't have to believe any of that. All you have to know is that these entities that we can call people loosely are there oppressing us to such a degree that they think that we are nothing more than animals to them. We are their food, we are their entertainment, we are their sustenance. We are their energy for their systems, we are their collateral for their money system, and we've got to stop it all.
Dan, I have a good challenging show to connect all this, right? Let's dive into quotes from the Talmud. That's something we should do sometime this week, because when you learn the Talmud, you realize all of this is this everything that's happening that we're seeing right now. This is all a reflection of that. The Talmud is draconian law. The Talmud
and we can also say it's the same as the Khazarian mafia, their playbook, and they're the ones that when we talk about the pretend Jews, the ones that were still Baal worshiping, child sacrificing, a group out of the Khazarian region between the Black Sea and everything in the Middle East. They were crossroads of all trade. That they were forced to adopt either Christianity or Muslim, and they said, "Oh, we'll be Jews and mess you guys all up." Right. So they're the ones that basically made the Talmud. Right. This is their playbook.
Yeah, it's all it is the Talmud is a group of rabbis at about, I guess it's 500 AD. They just sat around and picked apart the Old Testament, and they mock it. I mean, they actually mock it in the Talmud. Like, if you're listening to that, you're married to death. The things they say about, I mean, I've been reading these quotes because, more and more you're like, wow, this is where this comes from. So what we would perceive as, being the reason why people have this misperception about anti-Semitic behavior. It's not really anti-Semitic, it's anti-satanic, right?
Yes.
Because there is actual satanic, this is all satanic stuff. You can rape the girls, a goyim girl, until she's 3 years old and 1 day. After that, she's unclean. The boys, you can rape them all the way up till 9. That's in the Talmud. Like, so it's very hard to say that someone's anti-Semitic if they're quoting your religious text, right? This is what your text says. So, and that is what the rabbis are trained with currently. All the rabbis, they're trained with the Talmud. So,
yeah, no, it's something definitely to go over, but we always have to make sure that people have the understanding that it's really this satanic worship that is infiltrated into religions. It's infiltrated into Christianity, into the Catholic Church, into every aspect of religions, because that's what it does. It's the nature of evil to hide in the shadows and corrupt from behind the scenes.
Right.
And now it's gotten to a point that it's the ultimate is that the evil has a hunger to reveal itself when it is ultimately in control and no one has any free will left at all. And then they can express their will over everybody. So the evil expresses, so it wants to be revealed, but only after it has completely taken over every element of society. And so that there will be no question as to its dominance. And the final section of what was going to go on right now was going to be them killing off anyone that didn't agree, going to the re-education camps with the guillotine.
Jeez, it's amazing that this is real. I mean, if people knew how close they were to like that timeline, can you imagine the? I mean, like people would be going crazy. And right now, I mean, think about it, this is really public. I can't believe how public the Epstein thing is. I mean, it's out there. I mean, it is like, you know, I know they always talked about it was going to happen, but now it actually looks like it is. So pretty amazing.
Yeah, and simultaneously, they have now what's going to be going on with Uranium One, Clinton emails, and so she's going to be now brought into this on the backside with Bill Clinton, right? Bill Clinton association with the pedophilia, then over to Hillary with her annex with Umar Aberdeen and that 8-year-old child. I don't know if you caught this, but one of the descriptions of the video says that there was a surgeon that removed the face of the 8-year-old girl.
Yeah, I have photographs of the final product that are gruesome. Yeah.
Yeah. I've not seen it.
I thought Hillary did it herself, is what I understood, but I didn't know.
Well, maybe this was on the Q post today, or it was. And I read it out loud, so it is really disgusting. I mean, I could bring it up if you want.
I don't.
No pictures. It's just the.
What they said. Well, I know that as far as I know, it was Huma and Hillary there, and it was. I know they used a surgical knife. They used a surgical procedure, but it very well could be a surgeon too. I don't know. I mean, I just honestly, it's so dark. 10 seconds in, I didn't see any people other than blood splattered against the tub, and I could feel the energy from it. It was so powerful I couldn't even watch it.
Yeah, so this is in Q post 3376 from July 9th. So there was 29 that day, so it's quite a few. This is I'll just share the screen and see what it says. It talks really about 3 different videos that were on this laptop. So the first video was the underage teen boy giving blood to transfusion direct to Hillary, where there's a doctor in a white coat present in an operating room procedure. Okay, video 2 is Huma and Hillary having sex with an underage girl in a bedroom setting. And video number 3, this is Hillary, Huma, and a surgeon cutting off the female child's face and nose with a scalpel, approximately 8 years old. H&H then taking child's face and placing it over their own, dancing around the room as if celebrating. So this is totally gross. But they're saying that Epstein and these indictments of are just the beginning, but they're all placeholders for what's coming in the month of August. So August is going to be when all of these other indictments are going to start coming about for this side of things. I don't know about the traitors and the rest of about treason and things like that. What else may be coming down the line, but that's what's set to come out now. And yeah, they're not going to be safe walking down any streets.
No.
There's even a video of one of the other guys. There's a white guy with 2 dead African Americans that pop up in his apartment, right? And the guy wasn't arrested, right? And so there's a group of people outside, that guy's apartment building, and they're saying, why isn't this guy, arrested? You find 2. So, that was pointed also out on these Q posts. So there's a lot happening. They're going to be pointing out a lot of things, and these placeholders are there because of the censorship that's coming down. Right? They know that they're gonna stamp down hard on all of this information. So we all have to turn towards this one avenue to get the information out. I don't know how it's going to function.
I don't believe they're going to be. I don't think they're going to be able to stamp down hard. this information is all consuming media. It will not, there is absolutely no way to hide from it. Literally, I can guarantee this will happen. If they try to keep this information private and hide this and just gloss over it, like, oh, and Epstein had a little island fun with some kids. You know, he's a bad guy. If they try to do something like that, people are going to erupt because everybody who's been involved, molested, abused, which is millions of people are going to stampede the building in these media outlets, which, by the way, I highly recommend. Because it really does get to a point where you've got to take some kind of peaceful stand. You've got to take over in numbers. You've got to drown them in their own bullshit. I mean, you've got to stop them from being allowed to do this. It is because we stand back and just, okay, whatever you tell us, we'll take it. That's the problem. So, I think that's what needs to happen. And they had the audacity, this judge, this appeals judge down in I don't even know where, but he had the nerve to say that because President Trump was blocking people from his tweets, right? Like who were attacking him, and he was blocking their messages, that they accused him or found him guilty of violating First Amendment rights. And I'm like, you know what? You can say whatever you want, but I don't have to listen. And you're not going to come into my house and do that. Like, no, and I have to let you now because First Amendment, right? The First Amendment protects your right to speak. It doesn't, take away my right to not listen, right? To change the channel.
Well, if there was this instance where the Q pointed out that Trump had made some things, and he has these hecklers, right, that pop up on his tweets. They're always right underneath they're always like the first thing in, right? And someone went in and moved positive people in the middle, right, and pushed them down. Right. They came back and their stuff moved back up to the top. Now, this is not supposed to be able to happen, but Q wanted to point out that they are manipulating Trump's, who's coming in underneath Trump. So they manipulated those people down so that they could turn around and manipulate up, thus proving that they're manipulating what's being put underneath Trump's tweets. So they proved it. They ended up proving it. So he could basically say, hey, okay, well, I'm going to make sure none of your stuff appears at all without blocking anyone, right?
Right.
He could do it.
Sure.
But, better to see the hypocrisy that comes out of these judges, right? Pointed out so they can.
I hope. I really do it, and I'm not one for vengeance per se, but I got to tell you, I really hope that there is just a mountain of horrifying videos with these judges who are making clearly unconstitutional decisions over and over and over again. I mean, it's awful. Jurisprudence, Black's Law Book, it protects us. It says it's not even a law. It's a no law, right? And look, Cuomo just passed another one, right? I mean, he's just constantly taking our rights. He's doing all types of stuff here in New York. I mean, right now, he's not the governor of New York. He's the New York monarch. I mean, he is making all types of decisions. He's not having public hearings. He's not following any protocols. He does not care what the Constitution says.
Because they don't have any choice right now. They have to go full speed ahead, right? They're panicked. They have to implement their stuff that they know was supposed to happen so that they can seize control. There is an event coming where they're going to try and seize control. It's probably going to be after the Trump wins, because they're going to see if they can actually get someone else in there and then transition over the next 8 years after Trump is out. But they're going to try and make something happen right after. I would say it would happen right after Trump wins, because they'll have no choice at that point. They know that they're doomed. It will be their last dance. And hopefully they're so dismantled by the time Trump is reelected, there's actually no one left.
Oh, that's great. You know what I want is today. I want today for funds to come in, and I want to go do humanitarian projects. And you know what?
Yeah,
They can
I
work out
want
all
to
the
do it too.
bullshit because that's the life path they chose. I didn't choose that path. I should not have to wait while they figure out, oh man, you know what? Remember when we passed all those laws? Dude, we're supposed to enforce them. Oh, we're not supposed to molest kids? Like, screw you guys. You're idiots. How are you in the how are any of us being governed by these animals? It is the most ridiculous thing to me. It's like, how did this happen? Like, was everybody
Slowly over hundreds of years of them being in power and pulling the wool over us. Everything with the legalese that they put in this. I mean, everyone thinks that we had a revolutionary war in America and separated from Britain, but we didn't tell you about the fine print. You know, you guys are still a colony of under the control of the Queen. So, you know, this goes back a long way. So, I'm surprised it take Trump only 2 years to get to this point.
Right.
You know,
It's amazing.
okay, but I want it now. My heart is with you there. I wish we can have the funds flow today.
Well, you know, the thing is too is because there's so much we don't know, and I have direct access to the top of it, right? And I literally have to fight every day not to like throw a temper tantrum on Kim and be like, Kim, what are we doing? Come on. Like, I have to fight it every day because I'm like, I know she's dealing with real stuff, right? And I don't have that right. And it's like, you know, I know there's a million things going on. I can't control and that it could be dangerous for everybody, but come on already. You know, like I want it. It's not, I know it's not.
I feel like doing a Jedi mind trick on you. It's okay to lose your cool. It's okay to throw a tantrum.
I know. Like, my tantrums will have absolutely no benefit to any of us. I mean, Kim is the coolest. Cool, you know, she's just the coolest. Like, she's, you know, like she'll just ignore me or whatever. But you know what? Intuitively and energetically, I feel like with all this other stuff going on, and if you're really looking at the collective consciousness of all humanity is holding all this in place, right? This is allowing this reality to exist. What better time than to come through with good news? To really, because what we're going to do, it's not just the few thousand people that we are in direct contact with. What we're going to do will affect the entire planet. It'll affect billions of people, and it'll affect millions of people overnight. It'll be like sounding the shofar. I mean, it'll be such a monumental moment, and not just that moment. It'll be ongoing. It'll keep coming. It'll take away the pain and the hurt of what has happened to humanity and our children being destroyed. Now it's not going to undo it, but at least it'll give people the opportunity to integrate that and realize that happened, and we let it happen, and we could start to build from the ground up and say we're never going to let it happen again. So
yeah,
that's what I'm pushing for.
No,
go ahead,
yes.
man.
No, I was just going to say that I think that we're right there. We're anyway, and on the world stage, we see it happening. And if it's another 2 months, okay. If it's another 3 months, it's what it is. But as soon as it happens, we're able to progress and do things, and make things happen. We don't have to. We're making things happen just from what we're doing.
Just from the sheer will of doing it too. That is what is monumental about this time that I will never forget, is pushing this hard and doing all this with nothing, finding ways around their systems and to continue to get the message out to the point where the only thing you have to get this done is your own manpower, so to speak, right? To just push through it and keep and you can't get volume by the number of places that you're able to hit. So the only way to really have volume is to be so constant and so current, which, by the way, I mean, Dan, you're a hero to the whole world on this. I mean, if you didn't tell me, you told me we were going to do these shows consecutive. I'm like, okay, it didn't even occur to me. It never would occur to me, but I fervently believe what happens is people get so used to the consistency of it. They know it's going to be there, and you know what? And they can get information, right? And we can just
it changes reality, right? It's a means. That's why the shadow banning is so heavy. That's why. Please pass out the videos. Copy the link. Paste it in your emails. Copy the link. Paste it in your Facebook and your other social media sites. That's what we need. Please do it. We've got 116 people watching. Do it times 10. We didn't have 1,000 links going on. We'll end up with 20,000 people watching in one day, even though it will only show 12.
Yeah. No, I believe that. Hey, man, I got to get this information out from Michelle Walker right now.
You do it, man.
We're trying to figure out the YouTube thing still. And so I'm going to go break that out and try this one more time. I'm going to have
Zoom.
I don't even know how you set it up yet, man. Like I set up Hangouts. I'm like, do I go to Hangouts first and then it just goes to YouTube naturally? Like, how's it work?
Okay. Well, do you want to just give you a lesson while we're online right here?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So let me go ahead and set this up, right? 1 second. Let me get this all.
Here at the Dank Show. So
all right. So I'm going to share my screen. All right. So you're on your channel. You have to get to YouTube Studio Beta, right? So you can go it from here, and you can go down to YouTube Studio Beta. Now we're going to be showing Hangouts. That's what we're doing. Hangouts disappears in like 3 weeks, so it's not going to be available anymore. But we'll show it right now. So if you look here at the bottom on the left-hand side, it says Other Features. Scroll down to Live Events, and you click on Live Events. Now, of course, I have a live event scheduled. I got one more for us scheduled. This is the one that's for tomorrow. So you would start it right here, resume a Hangout on air, right? But you want to create a new event.
Gotcha.
Right. And when you click on your schedule, make sure if you hit the calendar, you have to go back to it twice, right? Because it doesn't catch. At least for me, it might be just a Mac thing. Set your time. Title it.
Gotcha.
Right. Make it public. And then you're going to have to put your description in here. You have to put something.
Yep.
I'll have to fill. I have a whole text that I copy and paste in, and then down here is where you put in your tags.
Gotcha.
Right. So you have to put those in there. After you've done all that, create event.
Your screen looks totally different than mine. It's so interesting.
All right. It takes a minute or so, and then it'll take you back to that previous screen.
But you did that from Google Hangouts or from?
No. You never touch Google Hangouts.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So now I've made that, right? So now here, well, actually now I made two 131s. I'm sorry. So from here, I could say start on air, right? That's the one we just created, but it's for tomorrow. But now I got two for tomorrow. I'll have to change that, rename it. So from here, you would start Hangout on air. That's when you will get the screen that comes up. And then it'll come up with at the bottom, it'll say start broadcast, and it'll go back to your YouTube. But you start it from here, Hangouts.
But why, when I go, it takes me to a live control room. Oh, this is what you had there before, right?
Yeah, there's a couple things there, right? See, under other features, you've got
you go to live events.
Right. So there's a couple of different things here. So it's just live events. Okay. Right, and then you'll have your schedule. Now I'm live now. That's why it's showing me this screen. It should be that screen.
But where do I pick up the Google Hangouts part? Because it doesn't say that for me.
Huh?
Wait, let me see this again.
Your Hangouts will only start after you click on this where it says Start Hangouts on Air.
I don't have that.
All right, it's right next to the edit. Of course, I can't show you this because, I'm on Hangouts and it won't share that screen.
All right, I think I got it. All right, Dan, you're the best, man. I appreciate you, and I mean it. You're a hero of the world, and I'm not.
So are you. So are we all. Everyone listening here is a hero to the world.
Not everyone is. There's a lot of people out there doing nothing.
Okay, except those people. They're not.
You
right?
are. I am. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
All right, man. You have a good night, dude, and we'll talk later.
Good night. Bye-bye. Good night, everybody.